it's having individual haters that comes with the territory, but
Sure.
it has been really interesting to see the media come after people and not wanting to say, okay, these guys have a different opinion. And I said that to CBC in the interview too. I said, you know what? When you go to somebody who has all of the correct negative opinions about China, you engage with them on their ideas honestly. You say, okay, can you expand on this a bit? When you engage with somebody who says anything different from the mainstream media narrative, it's why are you saying this? Who's influencing you? Where is your funding coming from? That's all they care about at that point. I mean, it's really remarkable. But the information war, trying to control this is, there are a few tweets also. There was one I don't have here in front of me, but it was by NATO. They posted, and it had like these Ukrainian soldiers with the Nazi insignia on the thing.
Unbelievable.
And they had to removed it after. There was this one, which was from the Ukraine military.
Yeah, I remember.
Where they said, 22 days, 1,100 missiles were, bombed on Ukraine, and in 5 years in Syria there were only 100 missiles. I mean, the U.S. alone, launched 1,000 in one day in Syria. They've killed countless civilians in Syria. I think Raqqa was the city where they had like 1,000 casualties from NATO-led bombardments. But they had to delete this too because they just got completely destroyed. They're trying to create an alternate reality, and they're playing with the limits here. So, I thought this was good too in terms of trying to explain the hypocrisy. And getting away from this thing where people think it's just about whataboutism, it's just about deflecting. Because for me, if they go after Putin and they convict him as a war criminal, they think really that's what's supposed to happen. I just really hope that we apply this equally, because then it's not about international law. It's just about using it as a tool to punish geopolitical enemies. So with this one, this is David McBride. He was a British military officer and a military lawyer for the Australian military, and he was charged, and they went after him because he released information about the brutal crimes that Australians committed in Afghanistan. But anyways, he said on Twitter, "I've been asked if I think the invasion of Ukraine is illegal. My answer is, if we don't hold our own leaders to account, we can't hold other leaders to account. If the law is not applied consistently, it is not the law. It is simply an excuse we use to target our enemies. We will pay a heavy price for our hubris of 2003 in the future. We didn't just fail to punish Bush and Blair. We rewarded them. We re-elected them. We knighted them. If you want to see Putin in his true light, imagine him landing a jet and then saying, 'Mission accomplished,' like Bush did on that." Yeah. The justifications for the invasion of both Iraq and Ukraine are very similar. They were hurting their own people. They have bad stuff that could harm us. We warned them to stop, or else. We had no choice but to step in and to defend ourselves. The Russians didn't blackmail the UN. You almost get the sense in the last thing that he kind of agrees with the anti-Russian narrative in some aspects, but he's going to refuse to be ashamed into having to criticize them at every corner, because it's like, no, actually you guys are the ones who are supposed to prove that this is something you really care about. You can't just all of a sudden turn on your care button for this when it was never on before, and it's going to turn off again. So it's almost like for these people, it's important that you don't fold and give in to all these people who come to you one by one and say, "I need to hear you condemn Putin." No. But while I have your attention and you're suffering because you're so desperate to hear me say those words, let me tell you a few things.
Right.
And that's why a lot of these global south countries too, who are being forced to take a position, are saying, what? When the Iraq invasion was going on, when all this was going on, when you were bombing Libya, none of your geopolitical rivals, China or Russia, wasn't coming to us saying, I must hear you condemn America. Going around witch hunting everybody to say you have to condemn what America does. Why all of a sudden is this a new obligation? And it came with real consequences. Also, Lithuania refused to ship the 500,000 donated vaccines to Bangladesh when they refused to condemn Putin. I mean, it's an amazing opportunity to understand this double standard that happens across the media and within people themselves. Because I bet you a lot of these people don't realize what's happening to them. I bet you a lot of these people really think, no, I really do care about this. Yeah. And they've underestimated the extent, once again, that they're being controlled by the fact that they're being told what to care about and when to care about it. Very true.